All right, we are live. Good evening. Welcome to our Two Cents. I am Tom Sellers with my co-host Frank Hostica. Frank, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Tom? Glad to be here this
Good,
evening.
good.
Lovely, lovely September weather we're having in November. So, you
Right.
know,
Who'd have thunk? We were
yeah,
talking just a minute ago off camera. It is they're projecting it to be darn near 70 degrees here Saturday, which we don't see in November. And I am thinking very heavily about sneaking out to a golf course someplace and brag about it. Not brag about my game, but brag about that I'm playing golf in November in Chicago.
there you go. Absolutely. Got to take advantage of it when you can.
Right, right. So we got you here tonight, but I also you were just telling us that the holidays are on their way, and we're going to be on kind of a holiday schedule with Frank, and that's okay. We will march on. We will not be on Thanksgiving, so make that put that on your calendar. I will be in a food coma myself. My guess is most of you all will be as well.
Yep.
So tonight we've got a really good show and somebody that Frank and I have known for a little bit, several years actually, and it's a little bit of a departure, but it's a welcome departure, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. We're going to, of course, talk about all things working from home, but if anybody that is listening is a little bit tired, fed up, anxious, you can keep going with all of the adjectives you like about what's been going on with COVID and all these other things, and maybe you just are thinking to yourself, I just need to find a way to dump some of this stress, this what have you. We have somebody that's going to tell us how to do just that. So let us bring in our friend uh, Carla Morris. She is the owner of Mindfully Carly, and she's got some great things to share with us for those of us who might feel a little edgy these days. So let's bring her on in.
Boom. There
And
she is.
there she is.
Hello,
Hello,
Carla.
Carla. How are you?
Hi, hello. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here, guys.
Awesome. So we've already rolled out the big introduction. You missed that. We hide you on the side while we introduce you, but uh, we've set it up for you. The audience is going to learn all about how to reduce their anxiety and stress during these crazy times we're living in, and also learn a little bit more about you and your business and how you deal with those challenges yourself and how you operate your business. Uh, so we're going to kick that off. So Carla, tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure, I am, of course, Carla Morris with Mindfully Carly. I'm a certified meditation teacher and a big mindfulness advocate. So I have been personally studying and training with meditation for about 20 years. And so it is something that's really incorporated to my daily life and my habits.
Okay, cool. So
Very nice.
how long have you been operating your current business? Because I know you've done several things over the time I've known you. So how long has Mindfully Carly been up and running?
Mindfully Carly has been running since December of 2018. So just right about 2 years.
Okay,
So it's coming up on its anniversary.
and what made you decide to start Mindfully Carly? What led up to that?
Okay, so well, Mindfully Carly was my chance to obviously educate and share the benefits of a daily meditation practice through my own personal um, dealings with PTSD and some pain levels due to a car accident from 2002. I really benefited from the meditations and just some mindfulness tools. And I thought, what a great way to share this with other people. So, hence some of the other businesses I started, but then hence Mindfully Carly. And of course, the freedom of just having your own business, the good and the bad with that. And just the ability to create things the way I want to.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I'm going to guess, just going out on a limb here, your business has probably expanded at least a little bit through all the craziness that we put up with since roughly April.
It has. It has. I mean, it's mostly via virtual options, but have quite a few groups that that I continue to work with, and yeah, I just
You,
met
you
somebody the other day that in the same field, similar to mine, and we
okay?
sat down and we did a meditation together. So it was really a cool experience.
Well, I know a few years back, I was in one of your classes for meditation, and I don't know that I ever got really good at it at that time. But I have continued working on it, and I got a little thing that kind of works for me. But the with all these things going on between COVID, locked up, elections, all those things. Ed Heinrich, how are you, my friend? Um, we're gonna we want to know more about your business as well, but I also want to kind of incorporate some things in to some hints you might have, showed was stress a pretty healthy call for that these days.
Sorry, you broke up just a little bit, so I didn't quite hear the full question. But you're
Okay.
talking about our
Um,
health and
well, yeah, I was saying my guess is that you're getting a relatively healthy call, and maybe you could share a couple of tactics and thoughts with us about moving some of this anxiety, depression, and aggression, all those things that we're feeling through all those things. That maybe we can stop for a second and do something that you suggest here, and at least get us through the worst part of it at that moment.
so breath work is a really good one for a lot of those issues.
Okay.
That would be a good example of something that you could do. Yeah.
So what would that look like? What would we do? What if I'm sitting at my desk and all of a sudden I'm just what would I do in that moment to bring me back down to a level to go back to work?
I would stop what you're doing
Okay.
and take 4 deep breaths in through an inhale.
Okay.
I would hold that for four more counts and then blow and exhale that out for like 8 counts. Do
Okay.
that for a couple of times and it will start to slow the body down. It'll make you kind of be present and more aware of your body in that moment, and
Okay.
then hopefully calm you down enough that you can stop and think and observe about what you're doing enough to move on forward with whatever it is you have to do. So that's just an example of some breath work that you could do just to kind of chill you out. And then sometimes you have to just get up and walk away from the desk and try
Right.
that.
Sure.
You know, go in the
No, I like
bathroom, hide in the closet, whatever you got to do to have a timeout.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I like the breath exercise because I do know that it will almost immediately change what you're thinking.
Right. Absolutely. Sometimes it just allows you to
Sure.
stop and observe and bring you back to what you're doing.
So I
Frank, I know
know.
you.
So I noticed. Uh, you've been doing meditation for over 20 years for your own good and those types of things. And now you've converted that into something you enjoy doing it. Obviously, it's more than just exercise or a hobby for you. You really have a passion for it and sharing it with others. What have you seen that's changed in your industry in the last few years, and how have you incorporated that into what you do?
I've had quite a few friends, sadly enough, even before COVID, that have had to shut down their studios, yoga studios, and so forth. And it is unfortunately an industry sometimes that struggles. And I think that I have found, I know for me, working with power partners, whether you're in a studio or whether you're doing something virtually, has helped kind of gives you an easier route to reach more people, but also to help one another with what you're doing, whether it's saving costs on the studio end or just helping with the creative vision of it. So I think it's important sometimes, even though you may be a solo entrepreneur, it's important to have other people that you can work with in this industry that you can kind of grow and get stronger and stuff.
Okay. So what are one of the biggest challenges you're facing right now as a business owner or in your business? What's something that's really, causing you some headaches or, some things that are making it difficult to keep rolling along?
Well, definitely the fact that um, that we're not in person as much, getting in front of people, you don't want to lose the clients that you do have. You have some that are not comfortable going digitally, so you have to kind of figure out how to work with them, whether it's via just a phone call. Most of them will hop on to some kind of a Zoom or digital class. But if you don't stay active somehow, whether it's social media or networking of some sort, um, you struggle trying to continue to pick that back up because we saw some of that in March versus going, more digital and like things of that way versus in-person studio stuff. And then people in whatever need capacity that they need. And then we were able to get into some in person stuff, which was great. And then we've had to kind of back out of that as well. But at this point, the nice thing is most people are kind of used to dealing with the digital, the virtual part of it, and so we're able to help the clients better that way by staying in touch with them and finding out what their needs are to support them.
Okay.
So in terms of COVID, again, we were talking about having to go completely digital, which we're all doing to some degree.
Hmm.
What other things have you had to do? I imagine new client acquisition's a little bit more difficult now. So what kind of things have you done to have to be able to help things maintain and then grow a little bit if possible?
Well, I mentioned it a little bit before, but obviously social media. I'm on several different platforms. I find that those are helpful with reaching to people, even people that you don't know.
Hmm.
Continuing to, um, ask people that you do know if they have someone that needs some help. Facebook, Mailchimp on email. Email is great to keep, like do a newsletter to reach out to people. That isn't so much new clients as older clients, but um, there is Instagram, of course, with stories and staying on. There's Zoom recordings that you can do and then turn around and hand those out to people that need them. So it is a little tricky when it comes to new clients. I think you know um, it's helped in the past that I have worked with, as you guys know, the local chambers and networking, and that really makes a difference because word of mouth really helps with new clientele or reaching to someone who knows someone. So
Sure.
just
Awesome.
staying positive in all those different avenues that we can keep pursuing.
Great. So we have a question from somebody in the audience. So Carla, um, can you talk a little bit about the feelings and how to deal with feelings when totally out of control from what you used to be in control of? Example, the question is coming from someone who is a teacher and has gone from being in a classroom and being in control
Mhm.
of things to now being doing all this virtual stuff, and you've lost that control because it's pretty hard to keep the students paying attention when you can't reach out and touch them. I guess adding a little bit to the question, but you get the idea. So how do you deal with those feelings of you've lost control of the situation?
Yeah, that is a hard thing because I think so many of us want to control the situation, and unfortunately, there's so much that is out of our control. Short of just throwing a kid out of a Zoom class, I don't, it's very hard to reprimand in that respect. So, um, I think it goes back to learning the breath work, learning some meditations, whatever you're comfortable with in those tools, because the daily practice of starting, I mean, you have to start out small, of course, because it's new, but starting out in a daily practice will benefit in the long run because it's going to help lower your blood pressure, and it helps with stress. It helps with, any anxiety and so forth. So you have to start somewhere. Um, and just kind of work your way up. Like we mentioned before, Tom, the breath work, just
Yep.
taking the time out to stop. Really probably can't do that right in the middle of a class digitally, but something maybe during a break or something in the morning before you start your day, finding a way, whether it's breath work, relaxation, meditation, any of those mindfulness tools to help kind of start your day off fresh. Because once again, once you're able to kind of feel more grounded, you're going to be able to allow those feelings to maybe come through, but you don't allow them to kind of not float away, and you don't want to forget about it, but you'll be able to work through them and move past them and become more aware of what it is that's irritating you. The whole phrase of waking up on the wrong side of the bed, that just propels your whole day sometimes to just be, this is going to be the worst day ever.
Sure.
Whereas when you slow down and you work with the breath, things of that nature, you're going to allow yourself to rethink how you go about your day.
Right. And I understand that question maybe a little bit more closely because we're talking about some people I know, and I'm just going to put a quick shout out to all the teachers out there. Um, my God, you got it rough. In addition to having issues within the classroom, outside the classroom, the rules change every day. We're going to do this. No, we're not going to do this. We're going to do this. I mean, I would never wake up on the right side of the bed given those circumstances. Um, these are more than a little bit trying times. So now, if you compound that with this particular teacher we're talking with, you know, I've got a classroom when we're doing this hybrid thing they call it, and I've got kids that are volunteering to come back to school. Now, there's a ton of rules about what goes on in that classroom. Now, I also have to have a Zoom thing going on for being able to talk to those kids. So I really have two classrooms, no control over any of it, not knowing if this is going
Mhm.
to last a day, a week, a month, or an hour. I mean, so given those things, I completely understand. Now, here's kind of where I'm heading with this. Again, I was in uh, your meditation class a couple of times. What would you suggest, if anything, for that person who is bombarded with these types of things I just spoke of on a daily basis? How do we get that person? What tactics should we use? From sitting down at their desk to some place of reducing that load.
I think, like I mentioned before, I think the breath work is important.
Okay.
While they may not be able to close their eyes, they can
Right.
take the time to just stop and breathe.
Hmm.
Um, it it isn't always easiest to do. Sometimes when you're in the middle of what you're doing,
Right.
it you have to kind of consciously say, okay, I'm going to try this today. But if they can just do the breath work, even for just 1 minute, just inhale in through the nose and blow it out the mouth a couple of times, and then just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. It's a start because
Hmm.
the body will start to relax more. Your mind will kind of focus back in on just the breath, even if it's for 15 seconds. And it's just a start.
Sure. Sure. Now I know Frank's got a question, but I'm gonna jump in and ask one more real quick. I'm sorry, Frank. You
You
know
go
me.
ahead.
I'll forget what that guy was talking about.
Yes.
So
No, go ahead.
one of the things you taught me, Carla, was I had a preconceived notion of what meditation looked like and how long you were supposed to do it, and I've come to realize over the years. Again, I still do try to do it, but one of the things I found that I didn't hear or didn't pay attention to, imagine that, a guy not paying attention, was I could get a pretty good benefit out of 5 or 6 minutes. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, you definitely can get a benefit from 5 or 6 minutes. Ultimately, the important thing would be to do that 5 or 6 minutes every day.
Right.
Don't do it sporadically once a month, or if you really want to get a full, um, kind of beyond the cushion, so to speak, of meditation, you have to kind of try to create a habit of that 5 to 6 minutes. I eventually suggest to the client to kind of work up to about 15 minutes,
Sure.
regardless of what time of day. But you have to start somewhere, and definitely 5 minutes is going to make a huge difference. It's enough to make you feel just kind of grounded and centered. And if you could do it every day, wherever you could find time to fit it in, that's where you're going to get the full benefit of that 5 or 6 minutes.
So would you
Very cool.
say again? What I'm hearing is make it part of your routine. Make it part of your daily routine. Make it into something becomes a habit. So even 5 minutes. So get up 5 minutes early. Hit the snooze one last time in the morning, and get yourself up 5 minutes sooner. And somewhere in your preparation for your day, allow yourself that 5 minutes just to do something that's going to put you in a better mindset. Ed added another comment here: try to be proactive instead of reactive in your thinking, or have a proactive mindset. And I think that's kind of exactly what you're talking about. Start your day, give yourself that 5 minutes in the morning to and I want to get to this one, to be a little more mindful. Would that be correct? I mean, you call yourself a mindfulness. What I got the right words here? You're a mindfulness advocate. Explain exactly what that means,
Right.
and you know why
Okay.
that's
Well,
important.
mindfulness, well, meditation is a form of mindfulness, and mindfulness isn't necessarily just sitting there with your eyes closed meditating. Um, it can be going for a walk in nature and just soaking up, the nature around you where you're actually in that moment. You can be mindful while doing dishes. You're just observant and being in the moment. Maybe you're looking out the window enjoying the birds as you're washing the dishes, but you're aware of washing the dishes because you can be mindful in any task that you do. Meditation just is a form of that, which allows you to, um, as they said before, be more proactive and not be reactive. So I'm a big mindfulness um, advocate because there's so many different things you can do to be mindful. You can be mindful while you're eating. I mean, how many of us sit down and just shove the food in our face and aren't even aware that we ate and we went back for seconds because we just weren't paying attention to what we were eating.
All right, Tom, put your hand on it.
I'm that guy.
Yeah. So that's why I say I'm so big on um on that for people because it allows them to incorporate that into anything that they're doing.
Yeah,
So it's not,
I think
it's just
that's awesome.
a way to make life easier.
Yeah. I think that's awesome, and I can relate to that. I learned that from someone that was working with when I was looking to you know lose a little bit of weight and just change some of those eating habits. And that was one of the things they talked about was you know um, enjoy the food a little bit more instead of just inhaling it. Hey, chew it. How does it? What's it? Enjoy that taste. Enjoy that texture. Enjoy the flavor. And while you're doing that, count. You know what? You shouldn't. You shouldn't put a bite of food in your mouth and not chew it 20 to 25, 30 times. You
Who's got
know.
that kind of time?
Which probably most
It, that,
of us don't
and
do.
you know what? It's amazing if you can slow down. If you can slow down that whole eating process, you'll eat less. And it's like, wow,
Absolutely.
amazing. But it actually does work, so it's pretty cool. Uh, talk a little bit, Carla, about Reiki. What is Reiki? What is it? What does it do? How do you do it? And what are the
All
benefits?
right.
I,
It looks like we've got our first glitch of the night. There he is. We lost you there for a second, Frank. You may have to restart the question.
okay. Um, so what? Tell us a little bit about you. You also are involved with Reiki. Tell us about Reiki and what it is, and what are the benefits of Reiki? Reiki.
Sure. I call it Reiki. I am a Reiki practitioner. It is energy work. Some people are not really familiar with energy work. Um, but think of it as, like when you cut your finger, you heal your own wound. So Reiki is actually a form of hands-on or hands-off um, energy work that you work with the person's body, you work with their energy work. I work with what's called chakras or auras. Some people are more familiar with the word aura than chakra. Um, it is somewhat considered a spiritual um, energy work, so it sounds a little bit different for people who aren't familiar with it. Um, but it is a great tool to work with your emotional, physical, and just overall well-being. So you can work with a specific area of the body, whether it's emotion or physical. And once you can kind of work with that and release it, obviously you work through that for your own healing. So they would lay on a massage table, fully clothed. I do a little bit different, maybe than some Reiki practitioners, in the fact that I like to have the clients work with their breath. I kind of walk them through some of the relaxation techniques that I offer in my classes. And then that allows them to really become more relaxed and not as nervous. And then we work on the areas, whether, they have a specific area they want to work with, and that's what we work with. So, um, they're doing the own healing. It's just me propelling their energy to help them heal on their own. I mean, I'm not doing the work as far as the healing. The client's doing their own healing, working through whatever that may be that they've got to work with.
Okay.
So
Now
that is an additional thing that I do in my practice.
okay. So is Reiki something you can do virtually, or does that still require that in-person kind of appointment or that?
Right. Right. Reiki can be done virtually. It can be done whether you're in front of the client or whether you do a video and send it to them, or whether you don't even. There's something called long distance Reiki, and Reiki is a Japanese word that means like energy work. So it means like the energy flow, kind of like chi, something like similar to that. So they're in Reiki. It's considered there's no time and space. It's beneficial for the person whether they're virtual or whether they're in person. So it can be done either way.
Okay, cool. And why would what would be something that from an ailment or whatever standpoint, what would be something that um, Reiki would be a form of would be a way of treating it? What kind of ailment or something, I guess, would be something you would treat with Reiki?
It could be something as simple as a knee injury, maybe some headaches, things of that nature. Something obviously something simple that we can teach different ways to help them relax during the session and then to work on that particular energy. Sometimes as you know, when we get tense we hold things in our bodies, so sometimes we have something that's bothering us that actually comes out in a physical ailment, and it's not actually something that needs to be have surgery or anything like that, but we're holding ourselves a certain way. And so Reiki will assist them in a way to release that.
Okay, okay.
So
Well,
is it strictly and again I'm ignorant of this. I'm just asking questions. So is it something that somebody would seek out primarily for pain, or would there be other reasons?
Right, there could be other reasons. I mean, maybe they have some emotional work. It could be something as something that happened to them when they were a kid. It could be um, just something that maybe as an adult, some trauma that they're dealing with that they might need some help with. So obviously I'm not there to diagnose or treat, but I'm there to help assist in
Sure,
some of those. So there's the emotional side to it as well. And we same thing with emotions. We hold things in our body that we sometimes don't realize that it's there until a physical thing appears. So
sure. So I'm interested. You said that you got really interested in this after a car accident in 2002. So if you would kind of walk that path for us of how something like a car accident years later turns into not only a something that you live, but something that you teach.
okay. Hmm. Well, the car accident was pretty rough. I broke both my right and left femur, my right tibia, fibula, ankle, my right collarbone. Um, so there was a lot of surgeries, a lot of therapy, um, issues about whether or not to get back into a car.
Sure,
So it was what I while I'm perfectly fine with it now, it was a big trauma that I carried with me for quite some time, and so it was
sure.
a learning experience through my own um, different things of trying things, with meditation and pain levels. I was on 12 Percocets a day when I came home from the hospital, um,
Wow.
and so that wasn't something that I wanted to stick with,
Right,
obviously. So there
right.
were just finding different ways to whatever modalities that were more natural to help. And so I found these great benefits with meditation, and continued to learn throughout the years. And it was just such a passion, to want to share it with other people because had it firsthand experience of what I had gone through and how well
Right.
it had helped. And I had a sister-in-law who was working through some grief of her own and was taught meditation, and that's how the two of us paired up originally, and just wanted to really educate people on the benefits of this modality. So
Well, I mean, that's more than a little cool. And here's what I mean by that. A lot of us run businesses based on, something that we've learned or something we have a particular talent at. Very few of us can say, I'm doing what I am passionate about and I'm turned it into a business.
Yes, I do find that sometimes I want to just shout it from the rooftop. Hey, you don't get it. This really works. But
Right.
yeah, so it does actually make the business a lot of fun because I really want to share it and I want people to see how well it can work for them.
Very cool. Frank, you with us?
Yes, I am. Dealing with text message, but yes, I was listening. So no, I'm here, enjoying the conversation. So where why do people come to you, Carla? Why would people come to you? Uh, what would be something that if I knew somebody that had a situation, what would I say to them that would go, oh, you know what? You really need to talk to Carla. Carla can help you with that. What would be a complaint or something? How about like, I have trouble sleeping at night. I have trouble with, consuming too much alcohol, or I eat too much, because those are other things people do to deal with stress. They eat, they drink, they do different things. So how do you take somebody that has some other ways of coping and tell them, hey, here's some you should talk to about some different ways, some better ways, some more healthy ways of coping with uh, situations.
Well, most of my clients are women. Not that that's a bad thing, and a few good men, as many of our friends say. But I see a lot of women looking for just their own self care. They're such great multitaskers, um, regardless of the reason of why they need self care. Um, there's stress, there's anxiety, there's um, insomnia issues. So many people with insomnia. Um, there's a multitude of different ways meditation can help with a lot of those issues. Once again, we go back to just taking the time for yourself to slow down and learn how to be more mindful, learn how to, whether it's meditation, depending on what form works for them. Um, but of course, depending on the situation too, with someone that's drinking and things like that, I could certainly help people with learning meditation, um, as far as different, levels of things. Obviously, I would recommend people seek out whatever help that they think they need, but um, the basic um, principles of meditation are going to help the gamut of many things because the anxiety can bring on the insomnia, and then the insomnia brings you to be out of control all day because you haven't slept well, and it kind of becomes this little cycle of issues. So there really isn't an issue that we're not willing to at least sit down and try to work with the client to see what form of meditation, whether it's a little positive mantra or affirmation breath work, that can get them going in the right direction.
Okay, cool. So how do you incorporate yoga into your practice or what you do with people?
Most of the yoga, since I am not a full on, like our trained yoga teacher. My yoga has been a basic yoga training with my meditation. Um, the biggest proponent of what we do is either restorative yoga, which is holding yoga poses on the floor, sitting on a mat for 4 to 5 minutes and just breathing and becoming aware of um, that moment. And the other big one that we'd like to do is yoga nidra. It basically means yogic sleep. So you're basically laying in savasana, which is rest pose, with bolsters, pillows, even a blanket if you're comfortable. And I walk you through the awareness of the body and relaxation. And it's almost as if you could drift off to sleep, but you're still there. It's like a dreamlike state. And it's one of the, like, just the best things you can do. It's just, and it's so relaxing and yet so simple. So those are the two main focuses when I do any type of yoga that I normally do. So those are the two focuses.
Okay, very good. Cool, because I know some people think of yoga as being something that's pretty strenuous, and you know you got to be in really good shape to do yoga and things like that. But you're saying you do it in a different way, more of a relaxation uh, type of uh, yoga or exercise. It's not strenuous exercise.
Right. It's more therapeutic and relaxation. Um, yeah, that's the two that
Awesome.
we focus on.
So our
So,
audience is, primarily entrepreneurs, people who own their own businesses, people that work from home. You yourself work from home. I know you go to a studio from time to time, but basically your office is at home, and you work from home. Tell us how you use what you teach to help yourself in your own business to stay balanced and focused throughout the day when you're working.
Like I mentioned before, I'm always meditating in the morning. It's quiet at my house. No one's here. Um, I meditate in the evening a little bit as well, or do something along those lines to relax. And that has become a for me. But however, when COVID hit and I did really start working from home full time, I think the same as everybody else, I struggled to not get distracted, whether it was laundry or something in the kitchen or, oh, I forgot to thaw out meat for dinner, and it was like, wait a minute, this isn't going to work. And it's proven that multitasking is just, it's not mindful and I don't enjoy it. I did it for years past with different jobs. And so I just found that if I just didn't allow myself to multitask, just work strictly on either the classes that I was teaching or the programs or whatever I needed to work on, just would just like anybody else, write it in a daily calendar or a planner, piece of paper, whatever works. Stick with that guideline. And I always look at it the night before so I kind of know what I have to do, and then therefore I'm not so distracted. I am grateful that I have an office where I can go and shut the door, and that makes a difference, that I'm not being distracted by other things in the house. But I think if the biggest thing is if you stay away from multitasking and allow yourself to be present in whatever you're working on, whether you allow yourself to do something in the house in the morning and then work all afternoon and then you're, back in the house later making dinner, if you could just stay present in those moments and stay away from the multitasking, I feel like that's the biggest thing that can keep you going in the right direction.
Good point. That's a great tip. Great tip.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, I understand that you have an event coming up. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
I do. I have a great event coming up with Ellen Corey, who is coaching by Corey, and I do believe you guys have had her on your show recently.
We have.
Um,
We had a lot of fun.
so we have a great workshop called um, so we have a workshop coming up called How to Experience Joy in the Holidays and Beyond. So it's not just about um, the recent holidays that are coming up, but how do we put this back into our daily lives? So we're trying to create a space for women to explore ways to like nurture their family, making happy memories because we're going to have to get creative this year, and then just creating new maybe holiday traditions, and of course the self care is so important as well. So that's actually on November 20th, and it's going to be virtual, so it's not limited to just the area. It's anyone that's interested in doing that, and they can find out more about that by hopping on to mindfullycarly.com or coachingbycorey.com. Or, of course, we're both on Facebook and they can look at both of our pages for that.
Awesome. So that's
Very nice.
no, that's November 20th, and that's a Friday. Is that what time is that on
November
Friday?
20th.
Yeah. What time is that?
It starts at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
7 o'clock on a Friday night.
Okay. And runs for a couple hours? Okay. Very
Yeah,
good.
well,
Cool.
we're gonna be doing it from 7 to 9.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Very good. Well, great. And there's no, and also obviously there's no limit. You could be anywhere in the country potentially. Is there a size limit? You limiting it to 20, 30, 40 people, or as ever many that sign up?
Um, we're not really limiting it, so the more the merrier. And we'll just
Okay.
see how many we can get on. It's
Okay.
on Zoom, so it's pretty open.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. So, can we do a little meditation exercise with the audience?
We
That'd
can.
be
I think the easiest thing that would be
okay.
enjoyable would just be to do some breath work and
Okay.
walk you through some relaxation technique. So it'd be more
Okay.
of a mindful practice than full on meditation, but it is something simple that everybody can follow along with my voice if you guys are
Cool.
good for that.
All right.
We're in.
Absolutely.
All right. So how much time do we have? We don't want to take too long. So why don't we just say 5 or 6 minutes?
Yeah, we've
Six.
got about 10 or 11 left.
So 6 minutes would be good.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. All right, so everybody just get into a comfortable position with your feet flat on the floor and your hands in your lap. And then I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes and just begin to breathe in through the nose and blow it out your mouth. And again, in through the nose, blow it out your mouth. One last time, in through the nose and out through the nose. And just close your eyes and begin to relax, following the rhythm of your breath, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose, breathing in and breathing out. And just allow this time for yourself to be present in this moment, just concentrating on your breath and just breathe. Feel yourself being supported by the floor or the chair wherever you're sitting. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And let's begin by relaxing our toes, our feet, and our ankles. Breathing in and breathing out. Relax your shins, your calves, and your knees. And just breathe. Relax your legs, your hips, and your butt. Breathing in and breathing out. Now relax your stomach, your obliques, and your chest. And just breathe. And just breathe. Relax your lower back and your upper back. Breathing in and breathing out. Relax your shoulder blades and your shoulders and just breathe. Feel your shoulders begin to drop and relax. Now relax your triceps, your biceps, your elbows, and your forearms. Breathing in and breathing out. Begin to relax your wrists, your hands, and your fingers. And send your breath to this part of your body. Now begin to relax your neck, the base of your head, and the top of your head. And just breathe. And just breathe. And now begin to relax your jaw, your tongue, your temples, forehead, and your eyes. And send your breath to this part of your body. Breathing in and breathing out. Should begin to feel relaxed from the top of your head, over your face, down your torso, and all the way down to your toes. Breathing in, breathing out, and relax. And just concentrate on your breath, concentrating on your breath, and relax. Feeling supported by your chair, and just breathe. Breathing in, breathing out. Body should feel heavy and relaxed. And just concentrate on your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Now begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And this just gently wakes up the physical body as you continue to concentrate on your breath. Wiggle the toes and the fingers. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes and take your time.
Now, if you were following along with us,
Everyone,
if you aren't relaxed now,
I love
and that is,
that. I love it. I
and,
love. I love just listening to Carla. You know, I could wake up to that every morning. Breathe in, breathe out. Wiggle your toes. Ed Heinrich, you got something to work on tomorrow morning when you wake up before you go deal with those kids. Um,
well,
Great
and that's
stuff,
something
Carla.
that,
That was awesome. I'm glad we were able to do that. That was I enjoyed that. Good
Absolutely.
stuff.
Thank you.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Carla, that's something that, again, we were 5, 6 minutes in the deal. That was it. Somebody who is at work, maybe they take their 5 minute, 10 minute break and they go sit down somewhere and do something like that. I mean, surely there's benefits to that in terms of keeping your mind and body kind of on the same page.
Yep, I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good
It puts
stuff.
them in that present moment. It's going to allow their body to relax. It's just going to give them kind of a reset to just take a breather and then be able to go back to the task at hand. So they can do it, and they don't have to do it exactly the way I did it. It's just a matter of breathing and walking them through each part of the body to
Sure.
Great stuff. So those in our audience, those listening, or those that are going to listen to this on Facebook, the recording on Facebook, encourage you to go check out Carla, Mindfully Carly. You can find her on Facebook. Go to her website, mindfullycarly.com. Give her a call. Her phone number is going across the bottom of the screen. She'd be happy to talk to you more about the different things she does, the services they offer. She's got some really great blogs on her website as well on different topics that we've been talking about tonight. So go check her out. Um, I you'll be it'll be you're worth it. Put it that way. It's worth it for you to go check it out and see what you can do to be a little more mindful and practice a little more self care. So great stuff again, Carla. Thanks for being with us. Uh, Looking forward to your event on November 20th. And that's all I got.
thank you. I really appreciate you guys having me on tonight. It's always fun to get the word out and to hang with you too.
Awesome.
Well, we appreciate that. We are glad that you joined us tonight, and I hope those of you who have listened tonight, and those of you who will listen over the next few days, take the 5, 6 minutes as you're watching this and do that exercise, and not only do it, but feel it, and then make it a part of your daily routine. And
Exactly.
also, and
Absolutely.
also check out Carly's site. Drop in on her event on the 20th. You'll be glad that you did.
All right.
Well, thanks again, guys.
Well,
You're
thank you.
welcome.
We are
Best of luck to
we
you.
are just about out of time here. So we want to thank everybody who was here. We want to thank Carla for being here and giving us some things that we can use in our day-to-day uh, COVID-19. Uh, what's the word I'm looking for here? Uh, Care
Existence,
package.
survival.
Right, right. We will
Awesome.
see you next week. Last time we were on was 2 weeks ago. I told you I am closing in on my course. It will actually pre-launch next week. I will announce that next week and give you a place to go see what's going on and get involved should you want to. Frank, anything from you before we go?
That's it. Again, thanks, Carla. Thanks, Tom. Have a great rest of your week. It is Thursday, so have a great Friday. Heading into a nice weekend here in Northern Illinois with temperatures in the 70s and sunny for early part of
Call.
November. It's pretty awesome. Get out and
Absolutely.
enjoy some fresh air.
Absolutely. Folks, thanks for joining us. We will see you next week. We are Our 2 Cents. I'm Tom Sellers with my co-host Frank Hostica, and thank you again to Carla Morris. We will see you
Awesome.
guys next week.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.